Hi, everybody. I'm Bobby Gruenewald, pastor and innovation leader here at Life.Church, as well as the founder of the YouVersion Bible app. And I want to take just a brief moment to kind of reflect on where we see the church going now as we begin to move from this pandemic into the future. And over the last year, many of you, I'm sure all of you, have an opportunity to experience doing things in brand new ways. And for the church as a whole globally, we saw everyone focused on how to do church in a digital fashion because so many, if not all the churches around the world had the physical doors of their churches closed for a moment or had various restrictions placed, on it. And as we begin to open up physically and begin to meet again physically, there's some churches asking, what's this mean for online church? And are we going to continue to do online ministry, or should we continue to do online ministry, or should we only do online ministry in the future? And I want to just share a little bit of the way that we're thinking about it here. What we believe going forward, we're going to see is very much a hybrid church model where people both want to engage in physical environments. We're already seeing that take place, want to reclaim those physical experiences that we had before. And at the same time, keep the benefit and keep some of the unique qualities and attributes that they experienced during the pandemic through online community and the tools that had the ability to connect us together at any time, in any place, and create that sense of community and that unique community. And so we really feel like this hybrid model is something that we will continue to see moving forward. In fact, in many cases, in a much larger way than we saw it before the pandemic started. There's really a great analogy that I think many of us can relate to because a hybrid model is not really a new thing. We see this with sports globally. Many years ago, decades ago, the only way that you could experience a sporting event was to attend the sporting event in person. You're going to be in an arena or a stadium or a baseball diamond or a field to be able to watch that event happen at the moment that it was happening. And then we begin to see the broadcast of sporting events using radio and television as an opportunity to expand the audience for these sporting events. And people begin to both attend these sporting events, and when they weren't there, they would watch them on TV or they'd listen to them on the radio. And what you saw begin to happen is pretty interesting. People would actually go to the games and sometimes bring their personal radios with them and begin to listen to the same event that they're watching. And the reason why is that they grew accustomed to the announcers and to the commentary that was taking place when they watched it on TV or listened to it on the radio. And they didn't want to get rid of that part of the experience because they really valued it. So here they were physically at the game, but listening to the game in their ear so that they could have the commentators and they could have the other information that they got from that other experience. And now, of course, radio and television is moved to apps and video streaming and apps that we have data and stats and all sorts of other information at our fingertips. And we saw that happening before the pandemic even started. That was a hybrid model where people were moving back and forth between physically attending sporting events and digitally engaging. We think that this same type of approach is what we're going to see increasingly for the church. And it's going to be imperative that we as church leaders and pastors really ask ourselves these questions about how can we build continuity between those experiences? How can we not look at our online audience purely as a separate and distinct audience that aren't people that are a part of our physical church environment, but recognize that increasingly people are going to move back and forth between those two environments? These are the questions that we're asking at Life.Church. We're beginning to say, okay, how can we ensure that we create a great experience, regardless of whether someone's online or someone's physical? How can we be sure that we have the right data to really understand what's happening and not just have a number of views on YouTube or a number of people that participated in chat on the church online platform and a number of people that sat in a seat, but how can we know that John Smith moved from sitting in a seat to attending online and back to sitting in a seat the week after and be able to provide ministry in a way that reflects the fact that that is the reality of what we see happening? These are the questions our teams are asking. There's tools that our teams are working on and ideas that we have for what that could be as we move forward. But I want to challenge you to be asking the same questions. And for you as pastors and church leaders to not simply think in a binary fashion about only physical attendance or only online attendance, but really begin to see this future of a hybrid model and how we collectively as the church can best serve this world and reach this world using the technology and tools and thinking that we have available today.